mean, I think it's an opportunity, number one, a chance to grow as a leader, to grow as a teammate, and rely on some other guys that maybe haven't been around but have a lot of experience in the NFL. Bringing in a guy like Mac Hollins and MVS and leaning on who they've been around, and just kind of listening to what they have to say, bringing along some of the younger guys, and getting to know new guys. This is a time in the off season where you get to know guys on a deeper level and get to know where they come from and what makes them tick. So that's always a fun experience.
More of a teaching aspect to this for you, going into this off season with just all the new faces you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of teaching, but also a lot of learning. Obviously, with Joe being at the helm at OC, just understanding what he likes, the concepts that we're trying to put in, trying to run here, trying to teach what these guys are doing, and just, again, growing and appreciate you. That's MVS. What a guy. So, yeah, just it's a chance to learn, chance to grow, chance to lead, and, I'm thankful to be in this position.
What you learned through your early time working with Keon, sense some early chemistry developing there?
Yeah, I think, he's a talker. I don't know if you guys knew that. But he's a very smart player. He's been getting in his playbook. He knows it very well already as a rookie. Constantly studying, constantly asking questions. He loves football. I think that's first and foremost thing that you learn about him. He loves this game, loves the nuances of it, and that's fun to be around. And when you got a guy that's young and eager, he just turned 21, he's got a lot to learn in this game, and a lot to learn to be a good player in this league. But I think he's got the tools necessary to do that, and hopefully we can utilize his abilities.
What do you like most about his tools?
He can move and he can jump. He's 6'4". I thought he can run some routes pretty well. And then again, you put him into a room with Mac and MVS and Khalil and Curtis and some other guys that we got, and being able to learn from those guys that have had experience around the league, and again, just having a pretty good vet leadership and vet presence in that room right now. And it's a fun process to get to know some of these guys on and off the field, like I alluded to earlier. But to understand their body language, where and how to throw them the football, so that's the fun part.
How important is it, Josh, to come
when it comes to Keon, that good-natured approach that it immediately strikes you. You could be fooled by it by thinking maybe this guy doesn't take things seriously, but as you get to know him, we learned all about his yellow jacket, his love for cookies. I mean, we see what he's done with the bracelet and stuff like that. But when you get to know him, he does take things seriously. You find that out. He says, this is not about jackets. I need to make a difference here.
He understands that you can't just stay around this league for being a good guy or good presence. You got to come out, you got to make plays, and he's got some lofty goals as a rookie, and that's such a good thing. He wants to come in and help this team win football games, and again, each day on the field, he's quite the opposite. He's very focused, and he's doing what he needs to do to try to become a better player.
Like you said before, you got younger guys, and then you got seasoned veteran, new faces coming in. How important is it as a quarterback to have that right type of energy to make sure that everybody's comfortable but on task?
Yeah, I think the main thing is every day is a big day, right? We don't have the luxury of relying on previous reps. We don't have in-game experience with a lot of these guys. So every day is a chance to learn and grow, and we're going into it with that mindset. And I appreciate the guys for how hard they're working, and the type of like I said, presence that's in there. And most notably Mac Hollins, again, the guy that's pushing guys right now. He's talking good, he's talking bad too. So, but he's very realistic, and I appreciate the edge that he's been bringing to that room right now, and how hard he's been pushing these guys and how well these other guys have been responding.
Talked about receivers, but what about the center spot? Obviously, you've had Mitch there, so much comfortability through the years. How do you build that now with Connor McGovern? What's the process like for that?
Well, we get here, we're two of the first guys here, and we're sitting in the training room, getting stretched out, hanging out right by each other for a good 45 to an hour or so. I think that's part of it, is just understanding each other off the field. and developing a constant line of communication. Because the center quarterback position, that's a lot of it. Understanding, how we're talking, who we're talking to, who we're miking, how we can communicate sometimes non-verbally within a play too. So I think that, again, the off-field stuff pays dividends on field, and when we're out here, we're getting extra reps and making sure that we're just talking through things after the play. So that's kind of what we're doing right now.
Josh, what are your thoughts on Curtis Samuel so far?
He's a lot of speed. We're going to ask him to do a lot of different things for us. He brings an element of speed, an element of toughness, but he's a very smart football player too. I've enjoyed getting to know him. He's one of the locker room guys that we can talk with and hang out with, and his mindset's been very good since he's been here. Obviously, he's been in a system with Joe Brady before, and I think he's excited to be back in that type of system and knows what type of role he could have on this offense and what type of player that he can be. And I'm excited for it because he's been showing some flashes, and I just love throwing to him.
This is the most turnover you've gone through in an offseason. What does that do for how do you approach that? And how different is that compared to past years, and what does that tell you?
Well, I think for some cases it's kind of a clean slate. Just kind of come out here and we like to talk about no year is the same as the year prior, right? But a lot in this case, especially in this case, and to go into it with fresh guys and being able to communicate with them, and like I said, learn from Joe, learn from RC, who's in our quarterback room now. He's been around a lot of football, so kind of being able to relearn the offense that we're running here and be able to try to communicate it to the guys. I think that's a big part of it. I'm just approaching it as best as I can as the best leader, as the best teammate that I can be here for the Buffalo Bills, and ultimately the best quarterback that I can be.
You might not think of it in these terms, but with franchise quarterbacks, they're here for a long time. It's the rosters that turn over. Is this a reminder, or maybe, as I mentioned it to you, is it a reminder that you are a franchise quarterback right now?
Yeah, I think having talks with some of the longtime vets in this game, and just understanding that sometimes they may have been on the same team, but they really played with 3 or 4 different teams, and just understanding that I'm going into year 7 now, which is crazy to think about. But I feel like I'm still getting better. I'm still learning a lot, and trying to be the best version of myself every time I step in this locker room. And I think, again, there's a lot to learn and a lot to grow, and I feel like we're doing that right now, and just gotta trust what we're doing.
You said that we talked a couple weeks ago that you needed to grow as a leader. Do you feel like, have you approached that differently, or have you done anything different?
Yeah, I think just again, talking and chopping it up with different guys in the locker room. I know it sounds weird, but just sitting with different guys in the cafeteria and getting to know them and their families. And I truly believe, and again, I've said it a lot over the years, that having that relationship off the field pays dividends on the field. And it's no different now. I think there's more of maybe an intention now, and just more of a focus on it now.
Keon and Chase both made plays down the field today. Big body guys. How does that help the quarterback, having a bigger target down the field?
Yeah, I think sometimes people refer to them as 50-50 balls, but when you got guys with some size and are able to go properly judge and jump and catch a ball like that, it kind of leans more to they like to call it 90-10 balls or 95-5 balls, but it's more 60-40. It'd be great if we can turn them into 90-10 balls and just know that, having that supreme trust of putting this in a spot where he's going to get it. And if he doesn't, nobody is. So, again, I think that comes with getting more reps with these guys. But, again, the willingness for these guys to come out here and work and put their head down and run. And I think that's the emphasis that we have this year, right? Like, everybody's got to do your job. Everybody's going to eat. Sometimes you're going to have to run for the love of the game route. Sometimes you're on the outside running a bus ticket and making sure that you're trying to do everything you can so your teammate can catch a ball. And when you do have those opportunities down the field, you got to make them. And, like I said, guys are responding well to that. And trusting in the process and trusting what Joe's calling and putting in, as well as Cromer, and we're just moving forward as a team right now.
What are your thoughts on the red helmets, potentially making a comeback this year?
I haven't heard anything of it. I will not say anything if it puts Jeff Mazurek in any type of trouble, so I stand with Jeff.
What have been your early impressions of NBS?
Yeah, I mean, just having him over and listening to him talk. Obviously, he's been around two of the best quarterbacks to play the game. He's very smart. He sees things through the lens of a quarterback. And when you put that type of mindset in a guy, especially with his tools, he's tall, he's very fast. He's gave us problems the last couple of years, and now he's going to be able to try to help us win football games, and just again utilizing his experience and trusting what he has to say, and just trying to build a rapport with him and move forward as quickly as we can with him. And like I said, put him into that room, which has some good vet leadership right now, and using him as well in that room, I think it's going to be very helpful.
Two more. Just the handshakes seemed in mid-season form. Like, what goes into that?
Sometimes it's quick. Sometimes it happens over time, but you do one thing sometimes and they like it and it sticks, and that's just kind of how it happens.
30 players who could play. There
Yeah.
are 30 NFL players who can play in the NBA.
In the NBA?
You heard this whole discussion, right? With Austin Rivers and
I saw a little bit of it. I'll tell you what. No,
expand.
I don't listen. I think there's guys on both sides that have the ability to.
I'm not talking about sit at the end of the bench. I mean play.
I think I can give some good minutes. I'm a 3-and-D guy. Like, I'm gonna bust my tail on defense and chuck up a shot or two and pray that it goes in. But I'm gonna box out and go get some rebounds. I think I have the tools to do that. But I can give you a good 6-7 minutes off the bench. I think so. Go Bills.